Marriage is like a subscription service you forgot to cancel. My episode? Cheated On, the middle-aged edition. I'm Tom Avery, 39, IT consultant, and apparently the world's most oblivious husband. You need to apologize to Shane, or this relationship is over. Julia stood in our kitchen, arms crossed, mascara slightly smudged from her emergency work meeting that ran until 2 a.m. Shane Dalton, her college guy best friend, who'd somehow become more important than her husband of 16 years. Apologize for what exactly? I asked, not looking up from my laptop. For existing? For being rude to him at dinner? For making those sarcastic comments about his protein shake business? I finally looked at her. Julia was still beautiful at 37, but there was something cold in her eyes now. Something that hadn't been there when we got married. You mean when I asked if his shakes actually contained protein or just overpriced chalk dust? That's exactly what I mean. Shane has been in my life longer than you have, Tom. He matters to me. The words hit like a slap. Shane matters more than me, her husband, the father of her children. He's been texting you at 2 a.m, Julia, sending you workout videos and asking about your flexibility training. She rolled her eyes. You're being paranoid. Shane is my friend. Friends don't send their married friends pictures of themselves shirtless with captions like, thinking of you during my workout. You went through my phone. It was sitting right there when it buzzed. Hard to miss a shirtless selfie taking up the entire screen. Julia's face flushed. That's just how Shane is. He's a fitness influencer. Those pictures are his brand. His brand is home wrecking? That's it. She slammed her hand on the counter. I'm done with your jealousy and your attitude. Shane has been nothing but supportive of me, of my career, of my dreams. All you do is sit there making jokes. I work 60 hours a week to pay for this house and your dreams, Julia. Shane believes in me. I believed in you first. She shook her head. It's not the same. You believe in me because you have to. You're my husband. Shane chooses to believe in me. The kitchen fell silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. Our kids were upstairs. Jake, 15, probably gaming with headphones on, and Sophie, 12, hopefully asleep. So what's it going to be, Tom? Are you going to apologize to Shane, or are we done here? I closed my laptop slowly. 16 years of marriage, 2 kids, a mortgage, shared dreams, all of it balanced on whether I'd grovel to some fitness influencer who'd been circling my wife like a vulture. I'm not apologizing to Shane. Julia's expression hardened. Then I guess we're done. She turned and walked upstairs. I heard her moving around in our bedroom, drawers opening and closing. 20 minutes later, she came down with a suitcase. I'm staying at Tasha's tonight. Maybe longer. Think about what you really want, Tom. The front door closed behind her with a soft click that somehow sounded louder than a slam. I sat in the kitchen for an hour, staring at the coffee maker Julia had insisted we needed. The expensive one that could make 12 different types of coffee, but somehow never made any that tasted like home. My phone buzzed. A text from my neighbor Raj. Saw Julia leave with a suitcase. You okay? Raj Patel was a former cop who'd moved in next door 3 years ago. He had a gift for noticing things and a talent for dry commentary that matched my own. Define okay, I texted back. Beer okay or whiskey okay? Whiskey. Coming over. 10 minutes later, Raj was sitting at my kitchen table with a bottle of Jameson and 2 glasses. So, he said, pouring generous amounts into both glasses, what did the fitness king do now? How did you know this was about Shane? Because every marriage problem in this neighborhood lately seems to involve some guy with abs and a social media following. He raised his glass. To modern romance. We drank in silence for a moment. She wants me to apologize to him, I said finally. For what? For not worshipping at the altar of his protein powder empire? Raj snorted. That guy's a walking advertisement for why steroids should come with warning labels. She said he's been in her life longer than I have. Ouch. Yeah. So what are you going to do? I stared into my whiskey. I honestly don't know. But even as I said it, something cold and calculating was starting to form in the back of my mind. Julia wanted to play games? Fine. I'd been underestimated my whole life. Time to show her what happened when the quiet guy finally decided to make some noise. 3 days of silence. No calls, no texts, nothing. Julia had vanished into whatever fantasy world she'd built with Shane and her enabling friends. I spent those days taking care of Jake and Sophie, working and thinking. Mostly thinking. On Thursday night, she showed up at the door, mascara running, looking like she'd been crying for hours. Tom, I made a mistake. I need you. I need us. Part of me wanted to slam the door. The other part, the part that remembered 16 years of good times, let her in. The kids are asleep, I said quietly. She nodded, wiping her eyes. I know I hurt you. I know I said terrible things. But I love you, Tom. I love our family. What about Shane? Shane is just a friend. I got confused. He was paying attention to me, making me feel special, and I lost perspective. She looked so small standing in our living room, so broken. This was the woman I'd fallen in love with, the mother of my children. I want to fix this, she continued. I want to fix us. I nodded slowly. Okay, we can try. She practically collapsed into my arms, sobbing against my chest. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But as I held her, stroking her hair and making soothing sounds, my mind was working. Because Julia was many things, but she wasn't a crier. She was tough, pragmatic, calculating. This display of emotion felt performed. Over the next week, we fell back into our routine. Julia came home at reasonable hours, helped with dinner, asked about my work. She even suggested we plan a weekend getaway, just the two of us. But her phone was always face down now, and she'd started taking it with her to the bathroom. On Saturday morning, while Julia was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text notification lit up the screen. Can't wait for tonight. Hotel Meridian, room 412. Wear the red dress. The sender. Shane. Tonight was supposed to be our date night. Our first step toward rebuilding our marriage. I took a picture of the message with my own phone, then deleted the notification from her screen. When Julia came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her hair, I was sitting on the bed reading the news. Ready for our big night out? She asked, kissing my cheek. Can't wait, I replied. That afternoon, I told Julia I had to run to the office for a few hours, a client emergency. She seemed almost relieved. Take your time, she said. I'll probably just relax, maybe go for a run. Instead of going to the office, I drove to the Hotel Meridian and parked across the street. At 6:30, Julia's BMW pulled into the parking lot. She was wearing the red dress, the one I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. Shane's ridiculous yellow sports car was already there. I sat in my car for 2 hours, watching the hotel, feeling something die inside me. Not love, that had been dying slowly for months, but hope. The hope that we could fix this, that she actually wanted to fix this. At 8:30, my phone rang. Julia. Hey, honey, I'm so sorry. This client meeting is running really late. Can we rain check our date night? Of course, I said. These things happen. You're the best. I love you. Love you too. I hung up and started my car. Time to go home and plan. But first, I had a stop to make. Raj was grilling burgers in his backyard when I knocked on his fence. Tom, perfect timing. Want a burger? Actually, I need a favor. He looked at my expression and turned off the grill. What kind of favor? The kind that uses your old cop skills. 20 minutes later, we were sitting in his kitchen while he ran Shane Dalton's name through various databases on his laptop. Interesting. Raj said, scrolling through results. Your boy Shane has quite a history. Such as? Assault charge in college, dropped when the victim suddenly refused to testify. 2 restraining orders from ex-girlfriends. And get this, his fitness business is leveraged to the hilt. He's basically broke. But he drives that expensive car, has the fancy apartment, all leased, all financed. He's living on credit and social media sponsorships. Raj looked up at me. This guy's a predator, Tom. He targets married women, breaks up their marriages, then moves on when the money runs out. How many women? Based on what I can find, at least 4 in the past 3 years. I felt sick. Julia has no idea. Julia doesn't want to have an idea. She wants the fantasy. I stared at the screen, at Shane's smiling face in his professional headshots. What else can you find? Give me a few days. I'll dig deeper. I went home to an empty house. Julia's client meeting was apparently an overnight affair. I checked on the kids, both asleep, then sat in my office and started planning. Julia wanted to play games? Fine. But she'd forgotten something important about me. I might be quiet, but I'm very, very good with technology, and I was about to become much better at revenge. Sunday morning, Julia came home with coffee and bagels, acting like nothing had happened. Sorry about last night, she said, kissing my forehead. You know how these client emergencies go. No problem. How did it go? Great. Really great. I think we landed the account. She was glowing, practically humming as she moved around the kitchen. The glow of a woman who'd spent the night being told she was special, desired, perfect. Over the next 2 weeks, I played the perfect husband. Supportive, understanding, maybe a little boring. Meanwhile, I was building a case. I installed tracking software on our home computer, the one Julia used for work. I set up a hidden camera in our bedroom, disguised as a phone charger. I started documenting everything. The evidence was damning. Julia and Shane texted constantly. Not just flirtation, detailed plans for their future together. Shane was coaching her on how to handle me, how to gradually distance herself from our marriage while maintaining financial security. Tom's so clueless, she'd written. He actually thinks we're working things out. Good, Shane had replied. Keep him thinking that until you're ready to make your move. We need to be smart about this. What about the kids? They'll adjust. Kids are resilient. Besides, I'll be a better father figure than Tom ever was. That message made me see red. Shane wanted to replace me with my own children. But the worst part was discovering their plan. Julia wasn't just having an affair, she was preparing to destroy me completely. She'd been meeting with a divorce attorney, planning to claim I was emotionally abusive. She'd been documenting every argument, every moment of tension, spinning them into a narrative of psychological abuse. Shane had even suggested she provoke me into losing my temper, maybe getting physical, so she could file for a restraining order. If you can get him to push you or grab you, even just on the arm, we can use that, he'd texted. Make sure your phone is recording. They were going to take my house, my kids, my reputation, everything. But they'd made one crucial mistake. They'd underestimated me. On Friday night, Julia announced she was going to a work conference in the city. Just overnight. I'll be back Saturday evening. Sounds good, I said. I'll hold down the fort. After she left, I called Raj. It's time, I said. You sure about this? She's trying to frame me for abuse. She wants to take my kids. Silence on the other end. Then, what do you need? Everything you've got on Shane, and I mean everything. Saturday morning, Raj came over with a thick folder. This is better than I hoped, he said, spreading papers across my kitchen table. Shane Dalton isn't just a predator, he's a fraud. The documents told the story. Shane's fitness credentials were fake. His supplement company was a pyramid scheme. His social media followers were mostly bots, and he owed money to some very unforgiving people. He's been using the women he targets to pay his debts, Raj explained. Gets them to invest in his business, buy him things, pay for his lifestyle. When they run out of money or get suspicious, he moves on. How much does Julia know? Based on her bank records, she's already given him $15,000 for his business expansion. My wife had been stealing from our joint account to fund her lover's fake business. There's more, Raj continued. Shane's got another girlfriend, college student named Brittany. She thinks she's his only girl. He showed me photos from Shane's private social media accounts, the ones Julia didn't know about. Shane with Brittany, Shane with 2 other women, all of them looking at him with the same adoring expression Julia had been wearing lately. He's running multiple women at the same time? It's his business model. Lonely, successful women who will pay for the fantasy of being with a younger, attractive man. I stared at the photos, feeling a mix of rage and pity. Julia wasn't special to Shane. She was just another mark. What's the plan? Raj asked. I smiled for the first time in weeks. We're going to give Shane exactly what he deserves, and we're going to make sure everyone sees it. That evening, Julia came home from her conference, glowing again. How was your conference? I asked. Productive. Very productive. She had no idea that her productive weekend was about to become her worst nightmare. Because on Monday morning, I was going to war. Monday started like any other day. Julia left for work, the kids went to school, and I settled into my home office for a day of IT consulting. Instead, I spent the morning uploading everything. Shane's fake credentials went to the Better Business Bureau and the State Licensing Board. His financial fraud evidence went to the IRS and local police. His multiple relationships, complete with screenshots and photos, went to a private investigator who specialized in social media exposure. But the real masterpiece was the website I'd built over the weekend. The real Shane Dalton. Every lie, every scam, every woman he'd used, all laid out with documentation and evidence. By noon, Shane's carefully constructed world was crumbling. His business license was suspended. His social media accounts were being investigated. And Brittany, his college girlfriend, had seen the evidence of his other relationships. She was not happy. At 2 p.m., my phone rang. Julia, sobbing. Tom, something terrible is happening. Someone is attacking Shane online. They're saying horrible things about him, lies about his business. That's awful, I said. Who would do such a thing? I don't know, but it's destroying him. His sponsors are pulling out. His clients are canceling. Tom, I need to help him. Help him how? He needs money, just temporarily, until this blows over. Maybe $10,000? $10,000 of our money to help the man who was planning to steal my wife and children. That's a lot of money, Julia. Please, he's in real trouble. These attacks are vicious and coordinated. Someone really wants to hurt him. Someone did want to hurt him. Me. I'll think about it, I said. Thank you. I knew you'd understand. After she hung up, I called Raj. Phase 1 complete, I reported. How's she taking it? She wants to give him $10,000 to help with his crisis. Raj laughed. Even now, she's choosing him over you. Not for much longer. That evening, Julia came home frantic. She'd spent the day with Shane, holding his hand while his world collapsed around him. It's getting worse, she said. Someone leaked his private messages, all of them. What kind of messages? She hesitated. Personal ones, with various women. Various women? It's not what it looks like. Shane has a lot of female friends. He's very supportive, very caring. These messages are being taken out of context. What kind of context makes "I can't wait to feel you again" appropriate between friends? Julia's face flushed. You saw them? They're all over social media. Everyone's seen them. She sank onto the couch, head in her hands. This is a nightmare. Julia, maybe this is a sign. Maybe you should distance yourself from Shane until this gets sorted out. She looked up at me with fire in her eyes. Distance myself? Tom, Shane needs me now more than ever. He's being destroyed by lies and manipulation, And I'm not going to abandon him. Even if it hurts our marriage? Our marriage? She stood up, pacing. Tom, Shane is innocent. He's being targeted by someone with a vendetta. Maybe an ex-girlfriend, maybe a business competitor. But I know him. I know his heart. You know his heart? Yes. I know him better than anyone. Better than me? She stopped pacing and looked at me. For a moment, I thought she might say something that could save us. Instead, she said the words that ended our marriage forever. Yes, Tom. I know Shane better than I know you. We connect on a level that you and I never have. I see. Tom, I need you to understand. Shane and I, we have something special. Something real. I've never felt this way before. Not even with me? Not like this. What Shane and I have is... It's pure. It's honest. It's everything I've been missing. I nodded slowly. And what about our kids? What about our 16 years together? The kids will understand eventually. And those 16 years... Tom, we were comfortable. We were safe. But we were never really in love. Not like this. I was in love. You were in love with the idea of me. Shane loves the real me. The real you that steals money from our joint account to fund his fake business? Her face went white. How did you... $15,000, Julia. $15,000 from our kids' college fund to pay for your boyfriend's pyramid scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's an investment in our future. Whose future? Yours and Shane's? Yes. She lifted her chin defiantly. Shane and I are building something together. Something beautiful. Built on lies and fraud. Built on love. I stared at my wife, this woman I'd shared 16 years with, who'd borne my children, who'd promised to love me in sickness and health, and realized I was looking at a stranger. Get out, I said quietly. What? Get out of my house. Go to Shane. Go build your beautiful future with him. Tom, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. You've made your choice. Now live with it. She grabbed her purse and keys, then turned back at the door. You'll regret this, Tom. When you realize what you've lost, when you see what Shane and I build together, you'll regret pushing me away. I already regret something, Julia. I regret not seeing who you really were 16 years ago. The door slammed behind her. I sat in the silence for a long time, then picked up my phone and called Raj. She's gone, I said. For good? For good. How do you feel? I thought about it. Free. But I wasn't done yet. Julia and Shane had tried to destroy me, tried to steal my children, tried to ruin my life. Now it was time for the finale. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from Julia. I didn't call back. Instead, I drove to Shane's apartment building, the luxury complex he could no longer afford. His yellow sports car was in the parking lot, but it looked different. Someone had spray-painted fraud across the hood in bright red letters. I wondered who could have done such a thing. My phone rang. Julia again. Tom, thank God. Something terrible has happened. What now? Someone vandalized Shane's car and his apartment. Tom, someone broke in and destroyed everything. Did they call the police? We can't call the police. Why not? Silence. Then, because Shane has some legal issues right now. The investigation into his business, it's gotten complicated. Complicated how? The state thinks he owes back taxes, a lot of back taxes, and some of his former clients are claiming fraud. Are they right? Of course not. It's all a misunderstanding. But until it gets sorted out, Shane can't afford any more attention from law enforcement. I almost laughed. Shane couldn't call the police about the vandalism because he was afraid they'd arrest him for fraud. So what do you want from me, Julia? Shane needs a place to stay, just temporarily. And you think he should stay here? Where else can he go? Tom, I know this is awkward, but Shane has nowhere else to turn. His family disowned him years ago. His friends have all abandoned him. Gee, I wonder why. Tom, please, I'm begging you. Just a few days until he can figure something out. The audacity was breathtaking. She wanted me to let her boyfriend move into our house. No, I said. Tom. No, Julia. I'm done. You made your choice. Live with the consequences. Fine. Then I'm moving in with him, wherever he ends up. Good luck with that. I hung up and called my lawyer. It was time to file for divorce. That afternoon, Raj came over with updates. Shane's in real trouble, he reported. The IRS froze his accounts, his landlord evicted him, and 3 more women have come forward claiming he scammed them. Where's he staying? That's the best part. He's living in his car. And Julia? Still trying to save him. She emptied her personal savings account yesterday. Another $8,000. $23,000 total. Plus she co-signed a loan for him last week, $15,000 more. She co-signed a loan? For his legal defense fund. Of course, he spent it on trying to flee the state. I shook my head. She's going to lose everything. She already has. Tom, there's something else. Shane's been talking to people, trying to find out who's behind his problems. And? He knows it's you. That evening, I was making dinner for Jake and Sophie when someone started pounding on my front door. Through the window, I could see Shane's face, red with rage. Open the door, Tom. We need to talk. I told the kids to go upstairs, then opened the door with the chain still attached. What do you want, Shane? You know what I want. I want you to stop. Stop what? Stop destroying my life. I know it's you behind all of this. The website, the reports to the IRS, the vandalism, all of it. I have no idea what you're talking about. Bullshit! He slammed his hand against the door. You think you can steal Julia back by ruining me? I'm not trying to steal Julia back. You can have her. Then why are you doing this? I looked at him through the gap in the door, this man who'd tried to steal my wife, my children, my life, and smiled. Because you messed with the wrong quiet guy. His face went purple. You think you're so smart, don't you? You think you've won? I know I've won. Julia loves me. Julia loves the idea of you, the fake you, the you that never existed. That's not true. Really? Then why don't you tell her about Brittany, and Madison, and the other 3 women you've been stringing along? His expression faltered. Oh, you didn't think I knew about them? Shane, I know everything. Your fake credentials, your pyramid scheme, your debts to those loan sharks in Chicago. Everything. You son of a... And so does Julia. I sent her all the evidence this morning. The color drained from his face. You're lying. Check your phone. I bet she's been calling you all day. He pulled out his phone and stared at the screen. 17 missed calls from Julia. She knows, Shane. She knows about all of them. He looked up at me with pure hatred. You've destroyed everything. No, Shane, you destroyed everything. I just made sure everyone could see it. He turned and walked back to his car, the vandalized yellow sports car that screamed failure to anyone who saw it. As he drove away, my phone rang. Tom? Julia's voice was small, broken. Yeah? Is it true? About Shane and the other women? Yes. All of it? All of it. Silence. Then, I've been such a fool. Yes, you have. Tom, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to fix this. You can't fix this, Julia. It's too late. But I love you. I know I said I didn't, but I do. I love you, and I love our family, and I want to come home. You should have thought of that before you chose him. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. People make mistakes, Julia. You made choices. Every day for months, you chose Shane over me, over our kids, over our marriage. I can choose differently now. No, you can't, because I'm done choosing you. I hung up and blocked her number. The next morning, I filed for divorce. 3 months later, it was final. Julia got nothing. The prenup she'd insisted on 16 years ago protected most of my assets, and her theft of marital funds for Shane's schemes eliminated any sympathy from the judge. Shane disappeared entirely. Last I heard, he was working at a gym in Florida, still trying to rebuild his fake empire. Julia moved back in with her mother. I kept the house, got full custody of the kids, and started over. 6 months after the divorce was final, I ran into Tasha, Julia's former friend, at the grocery store. "Tom, how are you doing?" "Great, actually, really great." "I'm so glad to hear that. And I want you to know, we all feel terrible about what happened. None of us realized what Julia was doing." "Sure you didn't." She had the grace to look embarrassed. "Okay, maybe we suspected, but we thought it was just a phase, a midlife crisis thing." "How's Julia doing?" "Not well. She keeps talking about what she lost, how she threw away the best thing in her life for a fantasy." "Too bad. Tom, I think she'd really like to talk to you. Maybe apologize properly." I smiled and put my groceries in the cart. "Tasha, tell Julia something for me." "Of course. Tell her that the day she chose him was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it showed me exactly who she really was." I walked away, leaving Tasha standing in the cereal aisle with her mouth open. That night, I tucked my kids into bed in our house, the house Julia had tried to steal from us, and realized something. I wasn't the quiet guy anymore. I was the guy who'd won.